recording? We good to go?
Oh, exciting.
All right.
And yes.
All right. Cool. Shake the nerves off real quick. All right, because I'm around greatness. I'm around black excellence. All right, so my name is Mr. M. M is for Montaigne Massac, and I'm here on behalf of the Queens World Film Festival and myself. And I'm joined with a panel of 3 amazing people. I really feel blessed to be talking to you 3 today. I feel we all have connections to each other that we'll explore even during this talk. And this talk is called Sovereign Creators in honor of Juneteenth. The talk is not about talking about woe is us, but more how great we are despite being in an industry that not only is Eurocentric, but started Eurocentric, right? Film in America started and was birthed already pretty much white, for lack of better terms, right? Birth of a Nation, movies like that. And so every stride we make is a stride uphill. And all 3 of you represent so much strength to me. I respect and honor all 3 of you so much. And even though Mrs. Stewart and I, we've been familiar on social media more, but I've been following your journey. And we'll get to that because I feel like I had a front row seat to all 3 journeys here. I want to talk about myself a little bit because I do feel I have a story that can inspire others. Once again, I said I'm Mr. M. I'm a board member and 2-time alumni of the Queens World Film Festival. That's how I got here. I'm a guerrilla filmmaker. I don't consider myself mainstream by far, but every door that I get in, I seem to make an impression. and then they seem to honor me with including me. So that's how I got included with the Queens World Film Festival. I went from being alumni to getting a call 10 years to the month of my first film screening at Queens World Film Festival to be on the board. So I said a whole lot about myself, but you 3 have some amazing stories. So I want to start with you all introducing yourself and giving us a little synopsis of how you became who you are right now. All 3 amazing, great filmmakers and more, right? And we're going to start with Queen Emelyn.
I'm Emelyn Stewart. I'm the owner of Stuart Cinema and Cafe.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. So I'm the first Black Latina to own a movie theater, but I'm also going to be the first to own a multiplex. So I'm building a multiplex that'll have 3 screens, a restaurant, a bookstore, and a bar in Sunset Park, my childhood neighborhood.
Wow.
They haven't had a movie theater in over 40 years.
Right.
So I'll be the first in 40 years in
That's
a
amazing.
neighborhood. Yeah. I remember as a kid having to get on the bus to go to the white neighborhood to watch movies. So when I thought about building a multiplex, I thought, well, where else would I build it?
Right.
If not the place that nobody feels is worth building in.
Right.
So yeah, I also am the founder of Ocktober Film Festival. We are entering year 11 this
Congratulations
year. We're going to
again.
open soon for submissions. I just opened an empanada factory.
Empanada factory?
Yeah, so we're going to be wholesaling empanadas, which is our top seller here.
Wow.
And I just launched a business school for artists.
Wow, congratulations. What's the name of the business school?
Stuart Cinema Business
Stuart
School.
Cinema Business School.
So I feel like that's the part that's missing. It's like I think filmmakers are making amazing content, but they don't know how to make money doing it.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want to focus on.
So we're going to get into your business a little further, but I'm going to let the other 2 introduce themselves.
My name is Victorious de Costa. I am a 3rd-generation griot. The tool of choice the past 12 years has been film. I started doing narrative films for the past 7 years. I've been doing documentaries. I also write comedies. Outside of film, I co-own a vinyl boutique called Legacy in Dumbo, Brooklyn.
Congratulations.
I am also a certified consulting hypnotist. And I dabble in a little bit of land.
A little bit of
A
land?
little bit of land, right? We can't really own the land, right? But I have rights to land, different places.
Absolutely.
That's in a nutshell. And I'm from East Flatbush, New York.
All right. So 2 people from Brooklyn so far. All right. Congratulations, Victorious. And now Queens is in the house.
Mic check. Let's make sure we get that correct when we say Queens and you address me. We say Hollis Queens.
Hollis Queens.
Just, we like to we really are proud folk in that part of the world. Do your history if y'all don't understand what Hollis Queens means to the rest of the world. My name is Vernon Williams. I'm professionally known as King Smij. I don't think many people know me as Vernon Williams, so if you Google me, just please Google King Smij, spelled Smij. I'm from Hollis Queens, New York. A very proud Hollis Queens, New Yorker. And we're moving to my film side. I've been working in film, actually. Well, I've been a creator in film since about 2003, actually. Damn, it's about 20 years. I think I bought my first camera. It was a Canon XL2.
It's not about. It is 20 years.
Yeah. That math is mathing. I've been in film since about 2003, and it started with me just being curious and purchasing a camera that I didn't know how to use. I shot a bunch of terrible content with this camera, guys. I'll be very honest, but it was how I learned how to shoot. Even though I didn't have, even though the content didn't look good, it was the type of content I was shooting which made me keep going. And people saying, "Wow, that's great. You might be able to do something with that."
Right.
Fast forward, I got into the actual production side about 10 years ago, and just got in as a PA. Actually driving trucks, and picking up equipment, running around, and working my way up to where I'm now an assistant director. I've worked on huge projects. I worked with Netflix, worked with Amazon, NBC, ABC, ESPN. I've just been doing that. It's a grind. It's a hard grind. And I actually work with the African Poetry Theater, which is a company I work with now.
Okay.
I'm the program director.
The program director.
So I bring programs to the community. What I did when I came through, I said, I want to bring cool programs. With me, I said, why not bring my background to the community?
Right.
I'm very good in film. So what I did was, instead of just bringing myself, I bring in other people from the film world who work at these big companies also, Netflix and Lionsgate and you bring them in to also help teach. So we bring these different things to the community, and that's how we give back. So I work in film and I make money from film, but we also give back to the community because it's great and it's a lot of money in this business.
Okay.
It's a lot of opportunities in business, so we'll take it from there.
Absolutely. When I met King Smij, right, I met him at the Queens World Film Festival as well on my second time screening at the Queens World Film Festival. But I was familiar with his work because a friend of mine was actually in a series you produced. And then I met you at the film festival, and I was able to connect with you. And my friend who was in that series, she actually came when the screening was over, so you just missed her. But I used to also go to African Poetry Theater as a child. So when I realized that you worked out of and with the African Poetry Theater, I really connected with you like even faster.
Yeah,
and I started showing you pictures when I was like really like 4 years old, standing in front of the African Poetry Theater. I want to piggyback off of something you said because you spoke about how you got into film. Give us a little snapshot of how you kicked in the door and got yourself into film production.
Film production?
Film production, yeah.
Wow, okay.
Because you're a producer, but you also work on sets, right?
Yes.
So you didn't come in the game and just say, well, I'm looking for a job only. You said, I'm here to produce my own content, but at the same time, I'm going to pay the bills, right?
Yes.
So you had to kick in the door two ways, right?
Oddly enough.
Yeah.
There was a young lady, her name was Carrie Lee, and we were friends for years. We was on Facebook, we was friends through friends. And she put up a post saying she needed some people to help work on a project. It wasn't paying anything. And I'm joking with her, actually. I said, oh, no, because she always puts a post about needing, maybe she's hiring a cameraman or a DP or whatever. I hit her playing around. I'll do it. And she laughs me, But being that she didn't take me serious, I kind of let me push a little bit. I said, what's the matter? I can't work with you. What's the problem? She said, I said it's no money, Smij. I can't have you working for no money. This because we had a relationship already, so she's thinking, how can I hire this guy? I pushed a little more. I said, why not? What makes you, so you too good to hire me to work in film, but I can't work next to you. So I kind of put it, she said, all right, listen, you want to do it? Come in or whatever. And she said, call time was like 5 a.m. in Brooklyn or whatever the case may be. I said, what? But I know she was testing me a little bit. I said, all right. I was there the next day, 5 a.m. She said, oh, I did everything they needed me to do. If it was get coffee, if it no matter what it was, I didn't care. I'm like, oh, it was fun. I was having fun. She was a producer, so the company out that she was working for, they called her and told her, hey, can we have him back for something else? And she called me. I was like, well, wait a minute, you didn't get 3 days out of me now. That was off a joke. I'd work 2 days for free. And she said, no, they'll pay you $200 a day for 5 days. It's about $1,000. Okay. That was about $1,000, and I'm just learning. Like, I already know film. I'm already shooting my own stuff. My stuff was already. I had shot for a bunch of people already.
Right.
But I never was into the production side. So I said, okay. And like you said, not just having fun. Once I started doing that, I realized how much I was learning.
Yeah.
I realized how much I didn't know.
Absolutely.
I was just a creative. I shouldn't say just a creative, but I was a creative. But there was so much more to producing projects, as we all know now, that we all do it.
Absolutely.
And I ran with that, but once I got into it, I ran so fast that I never told people when I met people, I think I told you the story, I told people I was an AD. Mm-hmm. I never met anybody who I told I was a PA. So what happened, word got around that I was an AD. And it came back to bite me kind of because somebody called me from the ID network. They said, hey, how you doing? We looking for a second AD for this project. I said, huh? They passed my number around. Nobody checked my credentials.
Right.
They just wanted to give my number to a pretty big network. And so literally they hired me off a phone interview. I got the set. And I just was winging it, man. I mean, I Googled it. I called some ADs. I knew about what I should be doing and what a second AD does and what. Mm-hmm. And I literally winged it on set. I met a person on set who didn't know I wasn't an AD, but she was in the wardrobe department. Mm. So she's coming to me, make sure she had all the looks right for the next shot. So she's coming to the second AD.
Right.
And literally, she doesn't even know how much she taught me because I'm just listening. Okay, yeah, we do that. Okay, right. Okay, that's it. Okay, I'm looking at even papers. I'm looking at that. You know, it's irregular schedules and stuff. I don't know all the abbreviations. Mm-hmm. I don't know. N is night and day is day. And I don't know any of these things. But she literally going through and it doesn't know. She teach me. Okay, this is night. Okay, this is gonna be day for night. What's day for night? Like, and literally that's how I got in. I literally front my way in. And once I got in, I did such a good job. I didn't take my foot off the gas. Yeah, I took it very serious. I never wanted anybody to not think I didn't know what I was doing. I was always first. I'm a half hour early no matter where I'm at.
So would you say that a big part of your journey was just being bold enough to do it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's the biggest part, just saying, I can do this. Yeah. And then taking that step to actually do it. Don't be scared, man. Because, I mean, majority of the time, let's think about it. In life, you fail a lot. Yeah. If you're trying, you're going to fail. Right. They use sports analogies all the time, talking about Michael Jordan didn't hit all the shots. Babe Ruth didn't hit a home run every time. Like, you know, and it's real. If you're trying, you're going to fail.
You're going to fail forward, though. I'm like I said, guerrilla filmmaker, independent filmmaker. And I became interested in film via a passion project. So as a youth advocate and community organizer, I saw firsthand what corporate-sponsored, let's just call gangster rap, was doing to the youth. So my first film was a mockumentary on a mock gangster rap group. Now, before that, I believe we all probably had this experience where before we became filmmakers officially, we probably were, it was a knack of ours. Like, we picked up cameras. This is before cameras were this small. So having a camera and playing with a camera was a big deal at that time. And so I would play with media when I was in college. I would frequent the video audio technology department in my school. I would make DVDs. I call them DVD newsletters to kind of promote organizations on my campus. And then, of course, but I ended up like two people on this panel. I'm not sure about you, Mr. Stewart, but I ended up getting into the music business. The music business probably was the most accessible form of entertainment for a young black man, right? And of course, I love music. I love hip hop, and that's why I met this man right here. I met Victorious. He was a DJ at the time. Yep. Through that experience, I can firsthand attest to Victorious and I. We didn't let what they dictated as mainstream distribution or what they dictated as mainstream music deter what we wanted to push. We were bold enough to push records that they weren't pushing on the radio for obvious reasons. They were revolutionary. And one of my fondest memories of Victorious is him and I and the artist manager in a car in front of a small mom and pop store, plotting on how we were going to get the record sold in this store. And we did it. Victorious and I went in there and we spoke to the owners and we were able to get them to sell the actual album that we were pushing at the time. And then you fast forward about 10 plus years later, he owns a record store. Victorious, how did you go from DJ to filmmaker?
I'll say this, it's interesting. I don't remember that memory you have, that specific one, because I was always just going. But I know that when I was in college at Morehouse, my first job was promotions and marketing. And so getting into the stores that's one of my jobs for like major labels and everything. But I wouldn't say I went from DJ to filmmaker, because I was really doing marketing and promotion. Then I was a manager for some artists. And I would say that I've been DJing since I was about 8 years old, you know, like turntables on the floor and everything. But I always aspired to push out talent. So in the era where people were paying DJs for mixtapes and everything, I was a manager, and I decided, well, I need to be more of a DJ outside in the world, because if I can get big with that, I can promote my own artists.
Absolutely.
Right, and so I was managing for a long time, and as a manager of artists, you need videos, right?
Right.
And so I started to produce videos. You know, in the hip hop world, the person who holds the camera is the director. You know, you don't know too much, but then directors would come to me later on, like, "Oh no, you directed that. That was you. You know, you did that." Because I would write the treatments, and I do almost everything except for the camera. And so when I stopped managing in 2010 or 11, I'd spent a little chunk of change on the video, and so I knew that I could do it. And I then have to rewind back to a photo I have when I was 17, where I have this camera in my hand, like some kind of digital camera, and I hadn't remembered that memory. You know, it was a great adventure. I remember being a great adventure, but here I am with the camera in my hand. And then I think, okay, when I was 12, I was writing scripts, and so this
was always there.
Yeah, it was always there, but it was latent, you know, so to speak.
Tell us about how fearless you had to be to say, well, despite what's up against me, I'm gonna be bold enough to walk through these doors and make it happen.
Am I fearless out here? Scared as fuck.
Fair enough.
I mean, yeah, it's very. I don't know if fear stopped me.
Fair enough.
Right. You know, I get that. Fair enough. I'm always nervous and always fearful, and so the fear is what drives me to produce. Because I mentioned Morehouse. I also went to Medgar Evers. I did a lot of school. Never graduated, and so because of what I'm taught, I'm going to end up on Skid Row somewhere, you know. And so a lot of my years, I'm fearful of, well, if I don't take this into my own hands, because entertainment is very limited entry, especially in film, right? Because it's the pinnacle of what everyone wants to do, right? Even if you're in sports, you're in music, fashion, you want to be in film. And so I wasn't getting shots because I didn't have any connections. And the fear of, well, what if I don't make these films? That's what kind of set in, right? And there's also an emotional aspect, is that there are stories that I need to tell, right? Because it's just in me to tell stories. That's just who, you know, half of the clan was. And I would explode, right? I would explode. You know, Van Gogh, I think they say Van Gogh, the guy cut his ear off. Like, you know, so for me, it's a deep, visceral level. I have to tell these things because I'm fearful of what would happen to me mentally, emotionally, physically, you know, if I don't.
That makes a lot of sense. I can relate to that, and that makes sense. So you're right. Success is very scary. Everybody here, right? We remember when making films was like music videos. You mentioned music videos. Music videos when we were growing up were $1 million budgets. So for us to say we're going to make a film, even in the years we made our first films, that's a big plight. You know, we were saying whatever is going to come against us, we're going to jump over those hurdles, and we're going to make it happen regardless, right? So I want to commend all three of you for that. Tell us about the success you've gained since becoming a filmmaker.
It's a blessing. I've done in 4 years 3 features.
Yes, talk about it.
You know, 2 on network, 1 you know Fox Sports, and you know 1 HBO. In my first feature, I did it with a mother in the hospital. I was a caregiver. I'm editing in her at Sloan Kettering. You know, so it's I think if everyone can just find what they're racing towards and why they're doing it, then everyone can do it the same. But I think because I didn't know anyone in film, I didn't know what I was doing was special. Because I was like just breaking rules that I didn't know existed, right? And I continue to do that, right? I got 4 on my slate right now, and
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
Proud of you. Right. The first time I met you was at the Queens World Film Festival 2013, I want to say. Was that your first film, or when was your first film?
So the first one was something called Wings and Beers.
Okay.
And then, so I think Geek's Guide was what I had at the festival.
Okay.
So I'm also an alumni of Queensboro Film
Absolutely.
Festival.
So that's how I know you,
Yeah.
right? Via the Queens
Yep.
World Film
Yep.
Festival. And also,
That just like 2000 what? So I've been executive producing forever.
yeah, how many films do you say you have right about now?
I think I'm about to release my 20th or
Wow.
21st
Congratulations. Congratulations.
film. Yeah.
So that's how
it's a grind.
it is.
You're not lying. It's a hustle and a grind.
It is, and I'm gonna preface this with saying we have a hard stop because 2 people on the panel have a flight to catch. So I'm gonna try to get as much jewels out of you, right? But tell me about what got you into making film.
So I'm really a Wall Street girl. So I'm a businesswoman who loves the arts.
Okay.
And so somebody gave me a script. I was doing real estate at the time in the city. I was mostly dealing with investors and commercial. And he was like, look, my nephew wants to make a movie. I don't trust him. I think I'm going to lose all my money. Can you take a look? And I said, sure. So I read this script, and it was really funny. So I'm sitting at Starbucks, I'm laughing, and I didn't know anything about filmmaking at the time. I did have a friend at NBC, and I called him, and I said, listen, I want to make this film. And he said, you're going to lose all your money. All your money you're going to lose, especially with short films. He's like, there's no money in it.
Right.
You're going to spend a ton because you don't really know people. And I did. I spent a ton of money to make this short film, but it started to win awards. And then I thought, so if I could figure out how to make money, I could do this for a lot of filmmakers.
Absolutely.
A lot of talented filmmakers. I could produce their projects. And that's how I got started.
And this was around what year?
Wow, this was like 2012 or something.
2012. So
Yeah.
around that time that we would end up meeting, like about a
Yeah.
year or two after that.
Yeah.
Well, I met you in
Yeah.
2013. So
it was
about
a year after.
A
It was
year
like
after that.
I was on my second project.
Right. So
And then after that, I did another short film, and that did really well. And then I did 12 Steps to Recovery. So it was us, an awkward black girl, for the first 2 web series, black web series anyway.
Yeah.
And so we did 23 episodes, and we got some broadcasting deals and things like that. And then I was like, okay, so I can make money. And then I just kept going and just trying to figure out how to monetize it.
what motivated you to actually open a theater? Because you went from making films and executive producing films to saying, well, I'm going to actually distribute them, because this is a form of distribution, which I honor so much, because I'm somebody who always wanted to self-distribute.
Yeah.
So when I got bum deals offered to me, it was easy for me to turn them down.
Right.
Salute to those people, though. No, I didn't burn the bridge, but they know the deal was trash. But you actually went ahead and took it a step further and said, I'm going to distribute films. Can you bring us into your world?
Yeah, so I produced a film, a faith-based film. It was my first faith-based film, and I thought, like, who doesn't want to know about Jesus? This is, like, so exciting, right? That's what I'm thinking. So I go to pitch the film. I'm talking to people, and basically this one guy, and I won't even say the network, but he basically said, there's no audience for this. You're not Tyler Perry. This isn't Passion of the Christ. This can't go to theaters. Who's going to watch this? Just like that. And I remember sitting there looking at him and thinking, you don't know my audience, number one. I know that for a fact, that you don't know my audience. And why do you get to decide? Like, why you? Why not me? Why are you sitting here? So now game over. Now I have to go back to the investors and they don't get the money. And everybody who worked on set, they get nothing.
Wow.
Because you
Right.
get to decide. And I left there that night and I went drinking. And I was with a friend and I was just like, woe is me. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this. You know, this is really where I wanted theatrical for this. I really felt that was important. And I said, and this guy, and I'm telling her the story. And I said, this cannot be. This can't be the way this story ends. And she said, well, if you want to make the decisions, you have to build your own movie theater. And so I said to her, yeah, well, why can't I build a movie theater? She's like, because you're not AMC, you're not Regal. Like, and I'm like, yeah, but I can build it at my level.
Absolutely.
And I can scale it up.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to build a movie theater. And so instead of producing another movie, because I was also the investor in most of the movies.
Right.
So instead of investing more money in another film, I'm going to take that money and build a theater.
Right.
And so I built this. I didn't know how to get the movies. I was trying to reach the studios. So I built this not really knowing. And this was built from scratch. So it was a warehouse with trucks parked in it. So every detail is what I envisioned.
Right.
And what I want to eat at a movie theater when I go. I don't
Right.
like popcorn, right?
Right.
So I wanted to eat chips, and I wanted to eat empanadas, and
Right.
I wanted to have a burger that was affordable, right? And I'm thinking, and I want to have coquito, and I want to have margarita. At an affordable price. And so I built this with the image in my head. But the other thing that was important was I wanted, like, I know that part of the reason, or a big part of the reason why independent films aren't going to the Oscars is because they can't afford the Oscar run. Mm-hmm. So after you use your last dollar to make the film, where are you going to find $40,000, $50,000 more
Right.
to do a theater run, to
Right.
qualify? So I knew that I had to show new movies in order
Right.
for this theater to be able to qualify independent filmmakers.
Right.
And so a fraction of what AMC and Regal charges is what I charge.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody has the ability to go to the Oscars if you feel your film is worthy.
That's beautiful.
In terms of being considered. And so the space is built with all of that in mind. I got into music, and one of the things I struggled with was that artists had to pay to perform.
Oh,
Now, I'm a numbers woman, so that made no sense to
Right.
me. Right? How comedians get $25 and a drink, and the promoter and the bar, and no shade to anybody because I have friends who own bars, but no, so you are paying to share your talent.
Yes.
Which is what filmmakers do when they make films and don't make money from the films.
Right.
And so I built this with a stage so that comedians and music artists can rent the space and keep all the money
That's beautiful.
and cut out all the middle people. Mm-hmm. And so all of those struggles that I've had as a filmmaker is what led me to building this.
That's amazing. Congratulations again. Yes, and thank you. Yep, absolutely. So Victorious and I both have actually put monies into screenings that happen here. Doing business with this theater was it was a breeze, right? When I called, I gave my information, and they even gave me one reschedule. Your company was so nice to me, and so it was such a pleasure. And I seen you from the beginning on social media talking about building this place.
I have one screen, and we host more film festivals than any other theater
I cannot believe
in
it.
all of New York.
I can imagine.
Because where else are you going to go where they understand?
Well,
Where they're checking the films.
Well, I say that to say this: we want to use it more. We want to use it. We want to use this place more. We want to encourage people to use Stuart Cinemas and Cafe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
I have to.
I know you gotta go. So
Look, we out here working.
yeah, both gotta go. So if you could just in one sentence or two give people an encouraging word to tell them to keep going despite what they think might be in their way.
Don't let anyone tell you what you can't do.
A word of encouragement for up and coming filmmakers and or executive producers and theater owners, etc.
You know what I always say, and not to get overly spiritual, but if something is on your heart and you have a desire to do something, that would not happen if there wasn't a way for you to do it.
There you go.
God is not going to put something in your heart to be a filmmaker, to tell stories, to do these things, and not give you a way to do it.
Absolutely.
But the problem is we're afraid. And we can't see the end,
Right.
It's sort of like a tunnel, and we can't see the end, so we're like, well, why go? Because I don't know where I'm going to end up. But you got to go anyway.
You have to
Go
go.
scared, but go.
But go. Thank you. That was powerful. King Smij.
I'm gonna echo these two panelists. The fear, we all have it. Don't. It's no such thing as I'm not scared. No, I'm scared. I'm scared when I'm spending my own money on my projects. And listen, when I spend my money on projects, I kind of know I'm not getting it back. I hope that it gets to levels where I can recoup my money and then some. But out of my heart and my passion for what I believe, I push forward somehow. So I don't spend my my living expenses, obviously, but I will put something aside and say, hey, you're going to get this project out, buddy. You're going to figure it out. So we got to fight through the fear and the judgment of people thinking, oh, it may have been good, it may have been bad, he's wasting his time. Who cares? I don't care what anybody thinks. I love me. I believe in me. You believe in you. That's it.
I'm going to say, I'm going to rain check the part 2. Can we get a part 2 with everybody here? Absolutely. Yeah? Absolutely. Okay, I'm excited. I know you two have to leave. Thank you for spending a little extra time with me. It took us a little while to set up, and parking was crazy. But I meant it when I said I'm in awe of all 3 of you. I'm in presence of black excellence. Go ahead, Tippy, talk about it. And then, thank you. I appreciate that.
I appreciate this opportunity, brother.
Thank you.
Photo, please.
Oh, please, one, at least one.